Hello and welcome to Mind Shifters Radio. I'm Tim Hayes. I'm your host for the first hour. And today is Monday, September 8th, 2025. As always, we're grateful to everyone who's joining us here today, whether you're listening live or through the archives, as we spend another couple of hours teaching and supporting people in using some of the most powerful, effective, efficient, and accessible tools I've ever encountered. These tools are available absolutely free through the tireless efforts of Dr. Michael and Jeannie Rice on the website at whyagain.org. If you go to that website and click on the two words that say Start Here in the upper left-hand corner, it will take you to a page where you can download and read Chapter 24 of Dr. Michael Rice's book. His book is titled, Why Is This Happening to Me Again? And that chapter of the book contains a narrative description and explanation of the primary tool in this work. That tool is called the Reality Management Worksheet, sometimes called the Reality Management Wake-Up Sheet. And it's a tool I've been using to great effect for over 21 years now to improve the quality of my life and most of my relationships, and to turn any negative emotional experience I have into part of the infallible guidance system that each and every one of us has been given. You can also download the actual worksheet process itself. It's a simple PDF file. Click the link, download it, print it off, copy it as often as you'd like, and use it over and over again absolutely free. You can also download a whole host of audio files and shows just like this one where people have been stepped through that worksheet process. And if you choose to listen to them even repeatedly, they can serve as a powerful tutorial for you to help you get maximum benefit from these tools in the shortest amount of time possible. You can also go to your app store and type in the three words Heartland Aramaic Forgiveness. If you do that, before you're done typing the word forgiveness, you'll see the glowing heart icon. If you tap on that, it'll let you download a completely free and private app that contains the Reality Management Worksheet. It contains an abbreviated version of that worksheet process, and it contains a copy of the Dragon Klingon game, which is a wonderful way to introduce these tools to even younger audiences. I hope people do all of that soon and often, primarily because it tends to improve the quality of people's lives the more they actively apply these tools in their lives. And secondarily, because it tends to prompt comments, questions, answers, and testimonials. If you have any of those to share with us, you can email me at tjh@mindshifters-academy.org, or you can email Jeannie at jeanie@yagain.org. Or you can join us live. You can go to zoom.us and type in the meeting ID number 853-2357-4173. 853-2357-4173. That will let you join us, whether you're calling in through the phone or your computer. If you're on the phone, you can toggle in and out of mute with *6. And we greatly appreciate whenever anybody chimes in, lets us know what's going on for them, what's working, what's not working so well, and it just makes it so much easier for us to live into our intention with this work. The intention we have is to be a service, and that's just lots easier to do when we know how these things are landing for you.
I've got one this morning.
Welcome.
Hi everybody. Oh my gosh. Okay, I have to tell the story, what happened this morning, and I've been doing worksheets since. So I get up this morning, go to my kitchen to make myself a coffee, and I see a big spider, a relatively big brown spider in my sink. And then immediately, this is what happens. So I see it there and fear overtakes me. But at the same time, I have a thought to put it in a paper towel and take it outside. Those two are happening simultaneously. The next thing, I go into panic. I turn on the water, flush it down the sink. Okay, then guilt, shame, And then, oh my God, first thought is I didn't pass my initiation. I knew it was initiation. I didn't pass it. And then lots of tears and worksheets. Yeah.
So where are you sitting with this now?
I've done 4 worksheets. So where am I sitting with it now? More into acceptance. I got to the point where I realized I was shamed a lot for if I did mistakes, right? If I didn't get it right, there was a lot of shaming. So that after to the 4th worksheet, I got there. So, and also to accept self. And then at the end, it was just, I'm allowed to have mistakes. And then there was an aspect, oh, it's going to come back around, back at the spider. I didn't pass the initiation. Oh no, I'm going to have to face this again. That there was around that. So yeah, just continue working. And I guess my point being, even the smallest events can bring up some of the biggest, the biggest opportunities to work. That's what I guess I wanted to offer. I mean, who would have thought in that situation? And really, there's some really big tears that came with that, all of this, and taking a life and all of that stuff, you know. Ah,
Well, and when you say and taking a life and all of that stuff, what you're not saying, you're implying but not saying explicitly, is that you're beating yourself up over how you reacted. And you're generating a lot of emotion
yeah,
around this incident this morning.
yes, that's exactly what I'm saying.
And, the point we like to make with this work is that because we don't have a time machine, we can't go back and change it. It's really counterproductive to pour a lot of mental energy into those emotions or into
Hmm.
the thoughts that create those emotions.
Yeah.
So, what's the alternative? Well, in this work, we're blessed because we've got these tools, right? So instead of
Yes.
waiting for the next event where a spider might come up and I might have to navigate my terror and all of the negative emotions that I've poured a lot of mind energy or thoughts I've poured a lot of mind energy into around, the shame of that I killed this poor creature, etc. Instead of waiting for that to happen in the next go round, I can start doing worksheets on what happened and what my thoughts are about it and what my continuing thoughts are.
Hmm.
And then just ask to be shown. And I can get a lot of the garbage unloaded
Yeah.
because when it's clearly seen all the way to its core, it loses its capacity to generate negativity in me.
Yeah.
So, was there any other update on the work you were doing last week that was so intense?
Oh yeah, so much on that. It was all a reflection of when of course facilitating that the program, the codependency and the initial when you do the 3 earliest memories and then how you felt with it, and then during the healing it's going to be the same. So yeah, I just got to see more of the content of my mind, that I'm fear, that I'm hyper, and I think I said this to the group. I walk in hypervigilance, constantly monitoring micro energy or movements constantly, and then making interpretations and meaning making of everything that's going on. And as I said to you last week, when I'm like, oh, is that, and always trying to predict what's coming next. So even like I mentioned to you last week, when right all the way at the beginning, when you gave me the feedback or you mirrored back to me about my intentions for even doing the intensive to facilitate that, I'm asking myself, this is what's going on in my mind. Is that a clue? Is that a clue I'm going to be taking advantage of? So that goes into my mind. That still floats with me along. And then there's a next event, talking and things are going in. Then it comes to the support group night. And then I hear Mary's feedback and your feedback and Faith's feedback, and the energy doesn't feel truth, but I can't ascertain what that's all about. So I think it might have something to do with me being in harm. Like, it's crazy, the meaning making, what's going on in this mind, constantly in hypervigilance. It's constant. And so that was one of the worksheets that this morning. For me, the journey is, and it's a perception, for me to be able to rest in safety, and also for me to perceive accurately. Yeah. So that was, and thankfully, I'm aware enough to know it was my inner work that was coming up. I'm so glad that it didn't lead to projections. And then I also saw that, let's say if I would have continued down the path of feeling that, it was all warning, that I'm being warned of all these things, then that's what I would generate in my reality. It would be likely, if that's what I'm holding in my mind energy, that's what I would see in my outer reality. Eventually, it would have to collapse there because that's what I believe. And I'm constructing this reality as I go. But I caught it, and I feel clean now and see how it's the content of my mind to show me the self-deception going on in my mind. So I'm grateful for it. And then I can observe, because I have the capacity, and whether I came in the world with this high sensitivity, which I believe I did, but not only that, I became extremely hypervigilant. My capacity to perceive nuances of micro energy and micro movements is very astute. But my meaning making is the part that I
There you go.
solo.
Right? So like the sensitivity is there,
Yeah,
and the error that most people make is because they're able to discern an
yeah.
energy,
Hmm.
they think they're going to be right whenever they put a meaning on that energy.
Exactly. That's it. That's it right there. Yeah.
And a lot of people who went through very challenging childhoods, they have, we want to say, have the gift, they have the residual effect of, they have the sensitivity, so that they are far more sensitive than the average person.
Yeah.
And we may never know whether or not that's just a certain percentage of us have that high sensitivity, or whether that high sensitivity is actually getting augmented or programmed into the person through the course of surviving those traumas.
Yeah.
But we don't know. We just know that if you're living your life in hypervigilance, something's way out of whack, because the system, the physiological system, was not designed to stay in hypervigilance for long periods. It was designed as a tool to help me survive in a 3 to 5 minute, you know, burst of activity, at the end of which time either the stressor is gone or I'm gone, so I don't have to worry about it. But this living in this hyper focus, scanning the environment, hypersensitivity, hypervigilance state is one of the main factors that contributes to how much dis-ease we have physiologically from staying in those high stress status levels too long. It suppresses the immune system, it gets the hormones all out of whack, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera.
Hmm.
So you can rest in your perfect safety, but you don't.
I'm moving in that. It feels, if I was going to give language to it, my perceptual construct is being cleansed. I am on that journey to rest into safety. And so it means peeling away all within me that believes it's not safe. So I faced the spider this morning, and I had to say, even right away, it went like the threat. I saw it, like I could watch this go down. That saw the spider, just go put it in a napkin, put it out. But that was the high mind. Immediately, the lower mind ego took over. I felt I was in threat. The first thing I did is turn on the tap and wash it down the sink. So I caught it after, and I did catch it. That wait a minute, why would I feel that I'm in threat with a spider? That was a question I had. Why? And everything to me these days is symbology. It had a message for me. And I went and looked up the spiritual message, which was very profound. And then, of course, that where it happened, and because it happened at the sink, and all, water's emotion, and all. So I saw symbology in all of it. But the fact that I even felt unsafe with this spider, and it's not true. So that's challenging my thinking mind. I'm meaning making that I was there. I was in threat with the spider. I can feel the energy of it still, and then I realize it's what the fear is within me, which I created the image of this spider washing it down the sink so I could find that. So I walk in the world with this fear that everything is a threat. That's the premise. That's the foundation of my experience. And I have to control everything. And Terry's on the call. I'm so glad she's here, because she talked about we had breath work yesterday, and then also the facilitation last night, but she had talked about the need to control. And I have that. So it's so wired in my being, and my foundation of control is to keep myself safe.
Well, the whole point about anybody who wants control over anything is related to safety at its core, right? If you're not feeling threatened, you don't feel like you need to control
I
anything.
know. That's why and that's it. It just brings me tears. A spider, and I'm sitting there feeling like my nervous system probably went to an 8 over a spider. Like, what the heck?
Yeah. So how about you just take a breath right now, since that's still up, and just for yourself, imagine, what if this isn't yours, right? What if this is from an ancestor, and you can just gently acknowledge it, feel it, and just hand it back to, you know, toss it up, toss it out to whoever may need to acknowledge that they have that issue, and you hand
Mm.
it back to them so they can work through it. You hand it back to them lovingly.
Yeah, thank you for that. Yeah, maybe it's not even mine. And it's funny because this weekend was all breath work, and my mind shifter was, do I even have, let me just see if this is the one. Okay, this was the mind shifter this weekend. It has always been easy for me to forgive as to the pain others bring up for me.
It
That was
has always been easy
for me to forgive
as
as
to the
to
pain that
the
others
pain
bring up in
others
me.
bring up in me, bring up for me.
Yeah.
And it was crazy, because in the writing, of course, it initially started with me, my story, and then it went into some strange writing talking about like beating children and all the wrongs that were done and what the foundation. So that was the ancestors. Then it went into some really strange writing about the higher self and what I came here to be and incarnate in the body. And then like pages of that, and then went back into the patterns in my own life that I've been replicating. Like, I don't know if people know this, but my first husband, I almost died at the effect of that relationship. There was a lot of domestic violence, and there was a day where I knew I was going to die that day. And by the grace of God, I was just waiting, in domestic violence, you can tell you're hypervigilant, you know what's coming next. And I was held captive for 7 hours. And I knew that this was going to be the day. And so I prayed to God and said, if you want me to live, then I know I need help. And I was trying to think, we lived on an acreage, and how am I going to get out? But I knew if I ran, he would catch me. That would be the end. So I was looking for all these exit points. And I thought, okay, so I tried phoning a neighbor, and they weren't home. And then a friend, I worked out of town. I just happened to be home for the weekend. And then a friend showed up, knocked on the door just out of nowhere, a different friend. And I went to the door, and then she gave her a look. And then I went to my first husband and said that she needs help moving. I just made up a story. And then I grabbed my purse and I told her to run for your life. So we ran to her car, and he came after me, got in her car, and made it to another friend's house, where I got into the bathroom to call the police, and he came, tried to get in, and a whole long story with that. So,
Now, how many years ago was that?
I was 27. I'm 60 now. Yeah.
So,
So
so you were almost 30 at the time it happened. So it's
mhm.
almost 30 or 33 years ago.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay. And notice the energy that's still up in there. Right?
Yeah,
Just
and I can,
just just
yeah.
notice the intensity of the emotion. There's nothing to be done about it except just notice.
Okay. Yeah, I can
So,
feel it.
if I'm going to be doing all this work, I'm going to facilitate this 90 hours of codependence, interdependence. I'm going to do all these worksheets. Maybe I'm going to be setting myself the goal of, doing 5 or more a day. Maybe one of those every day should be on this. The trauma of that almost dying at the hands of your husband. Because eventually what will happen if you do enough worksheets or work around this, breath work, tapping, etc., is you'll be able to talk about that with little or no tears coming up,
Yeah.
as though you're mentioning what kind of condiments to take to the picnic.
Yeah, I realize the fear that I'm talking about, this is really the same fear of the spider. It's that energy. Yeah, it's the same.
Well, and it's all the stuff that was getting triggered on last week in the
Yeah,
support group, and
that's it. Yeah, it is. It is all that. I thought that was complete, but yeah,
surprise, not complete,
yeah,
still loaded.
it is still loaded. The gun's still loaded. And so walking in this world with feeling that always that men are threatening. That's my view, right? That's my perception. It's not accurate, but yet that's the lens I'm always watching through. And that was a replication of my childhood, then went into a marriage, my first marriage in it. Yeah. Wow. And I am committed to doing 5 worksheets a day for 40 days. I've been doing it, but starting today, I will make sure I do 1 worksheet a day on that energy. Thank you for helping me find that, because if I didn't bring it up today, and I've been feeling I've been taking up too much time in these
Oh
groups.
yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah. Don't go start.
I know, but I
Don't
know
go
this.
down that.
I was just saying that. I was thinking that this morning, right? But then I'm glad I came forward, because this needs to be seen so I can process it. Um, yeah, so I'm grateful to this space to be able to do that, because
Yeah, and don't go into that. I'm taking up too much time on waste, because let's see, if Susan Bingham did that, if Michelle Pichet had done that years
yeah,
ago, if Mary Ratz had done that years ago, if the parade of people who've been on the show who've done their worksheets, if they all said, "Oh no, I want somebody else," this would be a very thin,
yeah,
hollow show.
Yeah.
or or community or platform for doing work. Um, it's just like, Michael likes to get people to understand that if you're doing your work and talking about the things that are actually relevant to the work that Michael's promoting, then whenever you call in, your time is your time. Our time with you is uh, this is goofy, but the word that wants to come out is sacrosanct. It's reverent. But we want to give that attention to everybody that's on the call so that they can actually get some value from it
Yeah.
rather than just we're keeping a checklist of how many minutes has everybody talked and we want to make sure everybody talks the same amount. People don't all want to talk the same amount. We don't need to keep score. Just need to be in the moment and say, look, if you're here and you're on the call and you're willing to process what's up for you, that's a gift not just to you, but to anybody who hears that show. Just like the gift that you got when Mary on Thursday night
Yeah.
faced her fears and spoke up about the dynamics that have been, churning and bubbling up around
Hmm.
her and this
Yeah.
group. And if she hadn't, then it wouldn't have unfolded the way it did.
Yeah, it was
It,
perfect actually. Yeah,
it
it was.
wouldn't have been the gift for you and the gift
Yeah.
for Andrea. And
uh, yeah, for sure. Oh.
okay, so get centered and we're not rushing away because I've already talked too much. So what's happening for you now as you think about this and you make the commitment, okay, I'm going to do one worksheet a day on that life-threatening abusive situation and my memories around it.
There's fear coming up around it, and but that's okay. Like I lived through it. I'm here. I lived through all, and there's lots of abuse in that. I was in that relationship for 7 years, and I love that person very much. So there's a tag towards, yeah, it's just gonna have to go, like you said, which I realize now is the grief that I've not touched. Grief, which that would have been a replication, also the grief in childhood.
Okay,
So,
and a grief pointed towards what thoughts or grief generated by what thoughts?
um, I think it's grief around my perception of love. To, you
Can
know,
you can you say a little bit more about that?
because in the upbringing I got, what would have been wired into my being, my perception of love is painful. It's associated with pain. And, here I am knowing my mind as I do this work knows the truth of it. And I realized the other night, I have no felt sense of love, or I'm not, it's there, but my heart has been blocked due to, trauma from a little person, and then the replication of that in relationship that I shut off the tap to love, to the felt
Okay.
sense of it.
So come back to that phrase, the felt sense of love.
Yeah, yeah.
When you make a statement that, like, I have no felt sense of love,
Hmm.
can you help me understand what you mean?
I can't feel it. I don't have a felt sense of it. People show me love. There's, um, I'm disconnected from it.
So if you have no felt sense of love and people show you love, what does that mean? What do you mean
That
they
I
show
don't
you
feel,
love?
So the like for example, someone will, if I was ill, they'd phone or they'd come over, bring me soup or a simple example, or give me a hug, right? And they're doing the actions of it and it's there, but I don't have the felt sense of it.
You mean you don't take it in, Susan?
I
You
can't
don't,
feel I can't feel it.
so there's no nourishment in
What
it?
do you, what, just a minute, Susan B. What do you feel when you say I don't feel it? What are you feeling? What
It's just
sensations are you aware of when you're in the presence of somebody doing something nice and nurturing for you?
it's just numb. There is no feeling.
Well, numb is a feeling.
Mm.
So if you're saying you feel numb, that's a feeling.
And I want to see if I can find it. It feels yeah, it's if I could, I'm going to give language. I'm going to use the word numb. That's the only one. It feels like it's not coming in. There's a barrier between me and the experience, the direct experience of that. Between me. And so all I can label that is either frozen or numb. So if numb's a feeling, then
Okay.
it's numb.
What about the dissociate word?
Yeah, that fits. That really fits. I'm dissociated from it. Yeah.
So keep breathing. So here's a trigger for your dissociation. If somebody offers you a gentle, loving, nurturing activity or action, then it can be a trigger for you to dissociate. So there will be stuff going on in your energy system, right, that we call the body, and yet you can sever your awareness of that.
Yeah, yeah, I'm dissociated from that. That. Thank you for the language around that. That feels true.
Now, why would that happen? Logically, what can you think about that would make really simple, good sense of why that would be adaptive?
Yeah, it was too be dissociated. It was for me. It was too much pain. There's physical pain. There was emotional pain. Um, yeah, it was a safety feature.
Pain that got connected with people doing something loving towards you?
I don't know. I
How did
don't.
that get paired? That's the
That's
question.
yeah. That is the question. It's a
And
risk.
and
When you say that, it
it's
feels like a risk. It feels like a
okay.
risk. A
And
risk.
what we're doing is just we're asking you to
Okay.
just sit with what bubbles up instead of thinking through it, right?
Okay.
So
Thank
just,
you. Okay.
you know, it's just one of those questions to pose that can be floating in the air as you do these worksheets coming in the future. We're just helping you point out that when your mind says, I don't feel anything, it's your mind tricking you because you're always feeling stuff. The body is always giving you feedback and the sensations are there, but we can be checked out.
That's it's that's exactly true. That's dissociated from feeling. And I don't know why. What's coming in right now? There's moments of sexual abuse. I've been having, I shared, I had an event. So I don't know the truth. I don't know what the story is. My mind hasn't revealed it to me. So 9 years old, I was at a friend's house, my age, 9. Her father was there. Her mother was there. Her 2 older sisters were there. And I have a memory of me laying on the floor and he's trying to pull my pants off while he's on the couch. And the next memory I have is the oldest one. She must have been about 15 or 16. He had a rolling pin and her boobs were exposed and she was big breasted and he's rolling over her breasts.
Who's he?
The father, the father. I
And
was the,
was it the father that was trying to get your pants off?
yes, yeah. And so and I can feel nauseous. And so I think there's more. Lots of tears came with that. So, and even now that's coming in. So this gentleness, when someone's gentle, they want something. It leads to trauma. It leads to suffering.
Okay, so it's not just they want something. It's that if somebody is gentle with me, they're setting me up for trauma.
That's exactly true.
Breathe into that. Try to write that down so you don't lose it. And someone's gentle with me, my system goes on alert as though they're about to traumatize me. And we don't need to understand right now how that comparison, that connection got made.
Yeah.
We just have to help you stay aware that that's a connection that's in your mind, that's in your body's energy system.
Yeah. And it's now another memory. Like when my son, he's now 19, but since he was younger, he would come in for a hug immediately. If he came for my hand would go up, I go, "What are you doing?" Completely guarded, and he would just, "Mom, I just want to hug you." And I'd always say, "Don't do that." Always burying up people coming into my personal space.
And you would tell him not to do that because of what?
Yeah, it would just put me into alarm. Exactly this piece, this right away, just guard up and yeah. So yeah, there's a connection there. Gentle leads to trauma, and coming in my personal space leads to trauma.
So the idea of word links comes to mind. But before we do that, let's see if Susan Bingham, if you had a thought you wanted to add.
You just answered it, Dr. Tim. You took her right there. I was asking if it was something that the loving person was insincere or had a motive. I didn't put it exactly that way, but you did it. So
I feel dissociated right now, believe it or not.
Okay. How so?
A part of me's here, a part of me isn't.
Okay. So what are you feeling in your left elbow?
Nothing.
Okay. What about how your feet feel hitting the floor? If they're hitting the floor, maybe you're one of those short people where they're dangling.
I've got it my foot's on a footstool. My feet are on a footstool. I can feel the bottom of my feet on the footstool. My
Yeah.
right
Are they?
side is absent.
Okay. And if you breathe into the right side, what do you notice? If you take this breath in and then as you breathe out, you just imagine you're breathing it into the right side. What do you notice? Do you feel it swirling through there? Do you feel a tightness, a tension, a warmth, a coldness?
All I can feel is, again, I mentioned the Sushumna, or the center energy in the right side. I can feel there, but the right side, I don't feel anything other than I can see a shell of the right side, but I don't have a felt sense of it.
Okay. So why don't you just ask that right side what message it has for you in going absent right now? And just take a breath in and imagine there's an answer coming.
It was too much.
Okay. What was too much?
Just making a note here. The pain is too much.
Okay. The pain of what is too much?
This is what I want to check out. Yeah, I could leave, but I have to really concentrate to stay.
Okay, so just write down the question for future reference, right?
Okay.
That you can know that in the future, when you're not feeling like you're pressured and there's plenty of time and you're in a safe
Yeah.
environment, maybe with somebody supportive there, you can turn to this checked out part of you, this side that feels like it's disconnected, and ask it what message it has and open a dialogue with it.
Yeah, I just heard I'm scared. I'm really scared. Really afraid. And I'm just letting that part know that I'm here. I'm not going anywhere. And we've lived through it. The direct experience is over, and now we're just processing the memory.
Are you back at the 9-year-old memory?
I think it is that memory.
Okay.
Yeah, I can feel there's something hidden there. And I'm feeling really nauseous. And then my
Just
head is spinning.
Okay, so just notice when you say I'm feeling really nauseous, next thing, put your attention on your breath and notice what's happening with it.
Yeah, I want to stop breathing.
Okay, so see if you can add some volitional control to your next few deep breaths where you're just going to decide how you comfortably fill your lungs and whether or not you pause at the top once they're full and whether or not you blast the air out or you take a long, slow exhale. Just be conscious of it and notice what comes up.
There's a sense of safety with that. That I get to say I feel like it's Ruka's with me, breathing me. It's not even me breathing. It's just I feel a sense of letting her do the work. It's time to heal this piece.
Okay, take the breath. What are the tears about?
I've just been hiding my whole life, like just just I just see the part, the Rolodex of memories of suffering right from the get-go, like birth, childhood trauma, growing up. 9 years old is the replication of just suffering over the replication of abuse and first marriage. Just the replication of suffering. And I can also see there's a content of my own mind. So this mind shifter this weekend is not by accident. And it's time, my journey is to purify so I can be a conduit of the truth. And all that's not God is coming up, and and this piece has been hidden. And yet a foundational piece for how I observe the world and what I called into my world.
So, what's the foundational piece for what you've called into your world?
Men
Your
aren't safe.
awareness of the suffering, your awareness of the suffering
Men aren't
from birth
safe.
on?
Men aren't safe.
Okay.
That men aren't safe and they cause
So there's
trauma.
another one where the word links might be of value to you. You
And
just have this
yeah,
connection, men are not safe, men are dangerous.
yeah,
And you had another one where, physical intimacy is threatening.
yep. Absolutely that one. Thank you for giving me language.
And even that one, is so, I'll use the word entrenched in your belief system that it's affected your ability to receive physical affection from your own son.
Mm. Yep. Yeah, this is a core. Thank you so much. Just give me so much to be able to process.
Well, and just try to remind yourself to just keep coming back to the breath and the physical sensations without all of the labels of emotions and thoughts
Yeah.
about how it got there.
Yeah.
Just, the recognition of tightness or tension or a hot sensation or a cold sensation.
Yeah, you really helped me last week to see that, to break it down. I put it in one of the slides, in the slides this week for the codependency, and it was so helpful because, as Viktor Frankl says, right, between stimulus and response, there's a space. And you helped me see that was happening in the physiology through just the sensation versus the meaning making through emotion. So now I get so this is up now. I can just be with the sensation and allow that to guide the healing. Oh man. Okay. Thank you. And for everybody just holding space as I go into this next level of healing.
Well, and there are some specific trauma techniques that we've mentioned, like the EMDR and others that can help people actually speed up that process of releasing those energies and resolving that traumatic download, or at least reevaluating the meaning that we've assigned to it.
Yeah. We'll do that. Yeah, I will get that scheduled in to assist with that. Thank you.
You're entirely welcome and deserving. Is there something else we can support anybody else with today? I've had a very full weekend of going back over the material from Thursday support group and Wednesdays and Thursdays and Fridays shows, both the first and second hour. And one of the things that came very clearly that I want to make a statement and probably do some writing about it is that my experience of this with all the intense emotions and with the people getting triggered to this and that has been a sense of satisfaction, a sense of appreciation for how almost to a person, there might be some who haven't done this, but for the most part, people who've gotten triggered are stepping up and saying, oh, I'm triggered. Let me do some work on what I'm making this thing mean, rather than let's get the gang together and go tar and feather somebody because they made a mistake or because they're off, out of line. And so it reminds me of a time back in 2014 when I was doing some work on the internet show. It's about 3 years into the show, and there was some really heavy processing. Tears on my part. Michael wanting to take the conversation in a different direction while I was still processing emotionally. And we went back and forth a few times. And so then we were playing the audio of that in the support group because it was such a big series of worksheets I'd done, such a big emotional release for me. It went back to stuff when I was beaten up by bullies when I was 14, all that good stuff. And as I was playing the audio of it for the support group, we had somebody on the support, they're live in the support group, who said, wow, I've never heard people fighting so politely in my entire life. And of course, I didn't have any sense that anybody was fighting, but that was their interpretation of it. And but the point is, if you just stick to using the tools, the fundamental basic assumption with the tools is I'm the one creating my emotion. So if I generate upset about something and I want to talk to you about how so-and-so did this and that's why I'm upset, I've literally just locked myself in a prison and thrown away the key. Because I'm the one that creates my upset. And what any other person does is not causing my emotions. If I choose an interpretation for that, whatever it is that they did, that says that's bad or wrong and that shouldn't be happening, then I can generate all kinds of negative emotions. But prior to that, or in the next minute, I can switch to a different interpretation of what they did, and now I'm feeling calm. There's a part in the Michael Rice's Why Is This Happening to Me Again book where he's talking to Richard, and Richard's upset because of something with his sister, and she always got better treatment from the parents, etc. And Michael coaches Richard to just shift the focus. Wait a minute. Do you have affection for your sister? Yes. Do you care about her? Yes. When you just think about your sister and how much you care for her, and then you think about her getting the perfect gift that she wanted for Christmas and how that makes her face light up, how do you feel? Oh, I feel good. I'd love to see her happy. Okay, great. This is the same set of data points that, 2 or 3 minutes before Richard was using to generate anger because she got exactly what she wanted at Christmas and he didn't get what he wanted. And a simple shift in the interpretation. If I look at those data points and I say, oh, what this means is my parents care more about my sister than they care about me, I can generate a lot of upset. If I look at those data points and I say, oh, what this means is this is not fair, I can generate a whole bunch of upset. But I could also look at those same data points and say, oh, this just means one of the people I love had a wonderful day and got this wonderful present. Then I generate affection, I generate gratitude, I generate warmth. In a previous worksheet, Michael Rice has a line that says, the truth is, my reality is strictly internal, it's unique to me, and it's created out of my own thoughts. And on the worksheet, that happens near the top, and it's all bold and all caps. So the truth is, my reality is strictly internal, it's unique to me, and is created out of my own thoughts. A little bit later down in that same worksheet, it says, with blame, I hide my power. And most of the time when I would do that worksheet and I was having a good day, I would catch that and I'd say, now stop here and let's identify what power am I hiding if I blame? There's usually quite a bit of silence, people looking around the room nervously, and then I say, well, come back here to this bold and all caps line we read earlier. It says, the truth is, my reality is strictly internal, it's unique to me, and it's created out of my own thoughts. That means I'm a really powerful creator of my life experience moment to moment. And if I get down lower in the worksheet and I say, now, if I'm blaming anybody else for what I'm experiencing, I'm hiding from myself the fact that I create my experience. So for all of these things, for any upset you have where your mind wants to tell you that someone or something outside of you did this wrong and that's why I'm upset, and just understand your mind is lying to you in those times. Whenever you're upset, whatever your mind is telling you other than soften and breathe, any other form of conclusion that leads to upset, we can instantly know three things. Number one, it's a lie or based in a falsehood. Number two, this is an old tape playing from the past. It's not about what's going on in the present moment. And number three, if I sit spinning in thought about this, if I speak or act from this negative thought, I'm just going to make my situation worse, not better. I can't make my situation better by acting from, spinning in thought about, or speaking from a negative conclusion. So that's where we want people to start and then come back to time and time again, right? A journey without distance to a place I never left. It's all right here. Just calm down, slow down, turn inside, and to whatever degree I'm ready to do that, tune into what's going on physically without all the thoughts and interpretations about it. Tune into what's going on physically and ask whatever that sensation is physically to talk to me, to let me know what message it has for me, etc., etc. Well, this is a Monday, so there won't be any support group today. I thank you all for being here and listening. I'll remind us all that we come from love. We're made of the stuff we call love. We actually are love, and everything